listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network. Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network. Listeners are our guest.
Yo, man, it's Fred. Listen, don't forget to like and subscribe to our New Orleans Talk Network page on. Keep going. What's up, everybody? This is your boy Fred. Listen, don't forget to like our page on YouTube, FanView, Facebook, FanView, and on Twitter, FanView New Orleans.
Holla at you, man, and act with us, and we gonna make this thing on the top of New Orleans Talk Network. With real fans talk about real energy, and not only sports, it's everyday activity and life, man.
My name is Jaquan Jackson, SMU commit, and you're tuning into FanView.
Yo, what's up? It's Poogle Williams, 2017 Mr. Football. You are now tuned into FanView Live on New Orleans Talk Network.
FanView Live, where real fans talk about real sports, only on the New Orleans Talk Network. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, because we're not just a sports talk show, we're a talk show about sports.
Hi, I'm...
Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Whoa. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to FanView Real Fans Talk Sports, New Orleans Talk Network. This is your boy, Fred.
G Sports in the building.
And listen, my man, Coach Hurricane, he could not make it with us tonight. He actually has a game that he's coaching, the Jamboree for A.K.A. High School. A.K.A.'s playing Southern Lab tonight. The game actually started for 6 p.m. But listen, man, we got a lot of sports to talk about tonight. Listen, y'all, everybody's tuning in to this show. Y'all know what I do before I get this show started. I always give a shout and salute to the armed forces, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, first responders, local police department, local fire department. Thank you guys enough, for the services y'all do for us as this country. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We can't thank y'all enough for what y'all do for us as citizens. Again, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Big time news coming out of Columbus today. Big time news. We're gonna talk a little LSU. We got some Saints to talk about. A lot of, and also we have a special interview tonight.
Right.
Great young man, top-rated DB in the state of Louisiana, Devin will be calling in tonight for people who'll be tuning in all week long. If you're on Twitter, if you're following us on Twitter at FanView NOLA, follow us tonight. If you're following us on Instagram, FanView Live, and you follow us on Facebook, tag a friend, add a friend. He'll be giving us a call tonight. We got some questions for him, because it's the big-time season coming up for him. He got a lot to talk about. He got a lot to say. But he's going to be calling in sometime between the hours of 6 and 8 tonight. But we're going to open up the show with Ohio State. That's the story that's right now that's going on in sports. For people who don't know, the athletic director, Gene Smith, was suspended from August 31st to September 15th. You could probably say 2 week suspension. Mm-hmm. Urban Meyer suspended 3 games. You talk about the game for Oregon State, the game for Rutgers, and the game for TCU, which is down here in Texas. The question we're asking everybody is, was this a fair punishment for Urban Meyer and Gene Smith at Ohio State for the domestic violence that was going on with their former employee, Zach Smith, and his wife? For people who don't know, this story's been going on now for a few weeks now. Started end of July. The decision finally came down now. G Sports, what's your take about what's going on in Ohio State?
You know, Ohio State to be a goddamn shame of itself.
Facts.
You get this man a 3-game suspension, a slap on the wrist. They might as well ain't even suspending. They might as well just find him and say, look, this guy won 91. This guy didn't win 91% of his games.
Yes.
He didn't win 3 national championships.
Yes.
We're preseason number 3.
Facts.
We don't want to fire him.
Wow.
We're going to keep him in Columbus. Suspending him for 3 games for what? So the first game against Ohio State, which they are big favorites to win by a lot.
By a lot.
He can't even participate in the practices. Week 2, when they play Rutgers, he can't be on the sideline, but he can do everything leading up to the game. He can be on the field. He can be in the film room, do everything like that. And week 3.
Right.
And the way technology is these days, I'm sure he's going to be able to figure something out.
Right.
Come game time, to be able to communicate with the coaches. If he sees something, you know, they're going to figure that out.
They're going to figure it out.
Why they gave this man a 3-game suspension beats me. I think this is a situation where the NCAA should have stepped in. You clearly lied at Big Ten Media Day.
Facts.
You say you wasn't ready. You wasn't expecting to get questions from the media about the domestic violence situation. Look, I would rather you had said no comment.
No comment.
I'm on answering football related questions.
Right.
You took it to another level and went all in depth as if you were telling the truth.
And called a reporter a lie.
But what it was is, man, you know, some people, they will tell you lies until they know what all you know.
Correct.
So once he knew that McMurphy had the story, had the text messages, now you're remorseful, now you're sorry.
Facts.
You're only sorry because you didn't got caught.
That's
okay.
I agree.
So, and to top it all, man, the press conference that he did was atrocious. It was terrible. You know, Stephen A., Shannon Sharp, a number of different ESPN analysts touched on it this morning, and they said that the way he went about it in the press conference, man, he showed no remorse.
None.
He didn't
even mention Courtney Smith's name.
He didn't give a damn about her getting her ass whooped by her husband.
I don't think he liked her. If you had to ask me, I don't think he liked her.
Man, he even put out there to the reporters that, you know, when she was saying that Zach Smith was beating her ass, that he felt like her story wasn't credible.
Correct.
You basically was saying that she was lying. You're taking Zach Smith's story over Courtney Smith.
I don't think he liked her. I personally think he didn't like her.
And then the thing about it is, Shelly Meyer, Urban Meyer's wife, okay, she is even more to blame out of this because, first of all, you're a woman. Mm-hmm. You should be able to relate to what that woman's going through. Y'all are the same kind, okay? You mean to tell me you know this woman getting her ass beat and you didn't handle this accordingly? I got a problem with that. So that really shows me a lot about how Urban Meyer and Shelly Meyer rock. The little saying they got in the locker room saying respect women, all that's a bunch of BS. Urban Meyer, Shelly Meyer, Gene Smith, the whole damn athletic football department ought to be ashamed of themselves. The NCAA need to intervene, and I think the right punishment would have been for to give him a whole year suspension. Now I ain't gonna say they should have fired him for the whole, fired him as a whole because I ain't gonna lie, he did relate the message.
He did relate the message to Gene Smith.
He
did relate the message to Gene Smith.
They should have handled it. It's a protocol you're supposed to follow.
That's correct.
He should have handled it accordingly after that.
Correct.
And you did lie. It's not a crime in lying to the media.
Yeah, no. Not at all.
It messed up your moral values, but
it's not a crime.
It's not a crime.
It's not a crime.
So
it's
I
not
don't
a reason
think
to lose his job.
I don't think he should have lost his job permanently, but I do think he should have been suspended for the whole year, and he should not be able to coach that Ohio State team this year. It's a shame because the NCAA should intervene. You intervene with all kind of stuff. I mean, Christian Fulton, the DB at LSU.
Right.
This man got a 2-year suspension because he skipped a drug test. Urban Meyer knows that a woman, a wife of his coach, is getting her ass whooped, and they didn't handle it accordingly. And this man get a 3-year suspension, a 3-game suspension, a slap on the wrist. I got a problem with it.
To me, I think the biggest part about this is the part that disturbed me, and I waited for today to make my comments about this. I was wanting to go live. I had emotion in me. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. First of all, it's disrespectful to have this guy to have a 3-game suspension. First and foremost, I said it last week when y'all guys were out. When you take this long to make a decision, this guy's not getting fired.
Right.
This guy has won 73 games and only lost 8 at Ohio State, and he's brought that team a national championship. If you think that resume in taking almost 3 weeks to make a decision, that guy's not getting fired. I said it last week, you can expect a suspension. First and foremost, you're only suspending him 3 games, which means for people who don't understand college football, the 4th game of that season, guess who they play? They play Penn State. You start playing Big Ten football, which is a top 10 ranked team in the country. So, Ohio State saying to themselves right now, we are more concerned about winning football games and making sure that the whole investigation to me sounds like as if you went about it to make sure you did what you can do not to fire Urban Meyer, not to get him fired. That's what the whole 2.5 weeks seemed to me. Like you took the time to say, I'm going to do it to make sure I don't have to fire Urban Meyer, because winning football games is what matters down here in Columbus, not Courtney Smith. We fired Zach Martin. So guess what? We could continue to go about winning football games because, truth be told, according to resume, Urban Meyer is arguably the 2nd best coach in college football.
Right.
Number 1 going down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Urban Meyer number 2, and Dabo Swinney number 3 right there in South Carolina. So it's difficult to replace a guy of that football pedigree into that program. But that's not the problem going on right now. To me, he should have been suspended all Big Ten games. If he's a Big Ten game, he should have been suspended.
So you don't agree with him being fired?
No, not being fired. Okay. Because he was not the one domestic abusing Shelly Meyer.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He was not committed to be.
Right.
He just
I'm with you on it.
He just covered it up. Now, with all that being said, you hold it to a higher standard. You hold to you're the head of the program. You walk inside Ohio State, like you said, mentioned. Hey, you don't beat women. It's in the model of the program, and this is something that you set forth. So at the end of the day, I think he should have been suspended all Big Ten games this year. Let him coach the Oregon State, and let him coach TCU. See these Big Ten games, this game that matter, you're suspended this year. We're sending a message out of Columbus, and I'm sending a message around the nation to say this is not tolerated. Courtney Smith is the victim here. I'm tired of telling people this. She is the victim in all of this. But at the end of the day, Urban Meyer went ahead and deleted text messages right after that press conference that he had. After you come to find, he started deleting messages from a year ago and 2 years ago. Why are you deleting messages? Because
you got something to hide.
You have something to hide, which means you're trying to cover up evidence of knowing of a situation. Which to me, if you've been married to any woman, I was a husband before. You can't tell me crap. Fuck that. Your wife tells you. Wife talk.
Oh, they pillow talk.
They pillow talk.
Yeah. Over a glass of Chardonnay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
So you're not about to convince me that she didn't tell you about these situations going on in their people's household. Nah, I'm not believing that. At the end of the day, he should have been suspended for all Big Ten football games. To me.
So you wouldn't suspend him for the whole season?
No, let him coach this Oregon State and TCU stuff. Let him coach that. Oh, you know what? Starting week 3, spend him. You're done. You're done.
What's the point of letting coach them 2 games?
At the end of the day,
you might want to suspend him for the whole season.
You can go as far as that. Most of the games are the Big Ten games. Most of their schedule, but outside of TCU in Oregon State, it's Big Ten. And I understand when you say, hey, listen, suspend it for the whole season. Because at the end of the day, this should not be tolerated. At the end of the day, as far as people, to me, no, Urban Meyer is not the person who went ahead and committed the act of domestic violence. But what he did was condone a player on a staff member on his staff, knowing that this guy had a repeated act of this with the same woman, which is his wife. And to keep that guy on staff. Now, granted, yeah, he notified Gene Smith for him, but he knew about this guy from Florida. See, Gene Smith only knew about this guy from the time of being at Ohio State. You knew about this guy's passing he had with the same spouse. Man, look here.
My other issue is this. Urban Meyer has shown a consistency of not having morals.
Yes.
Going all the way back to 2009 at Florida. Zach Smith has shown a behavior of not respecting women, not respecting himself. This man went to the White House and took pictures of his penis.
Bad.
Like, who does that?
Who does that?
This man got over $3,000 worth of sex toys delivered to the Ohio State Athletic Department.
Who does that?
Who does that?
Who does that?
Urban Meyer, you're seeing all of this happen. How you don't see nothing is wrong with this dude? The dude went to rehab. He was supposed to be admitted into rehab for 10 days. He only did 4 days, and you still let him back on the staff. The dude punched his wife while she was pregnant. You brought him from Florida to Ohio State with you. So now I'm looking at Urban Meyer like, dog, what kind of dude are you?
What did I do to you?
You condoning this? Yeah, I understand that Earl Bruce was your quote-unquote father-like mentor. I get that. But you gonna risk everything that you supposedly believe in and bring this kind of dude along in your camp? Come on, man. That's bad. That's all the way around the board bad. And there's no way in the world I got somebody on my staff now he claimed he didn't know about the pictures in the White House and all of that kind of stuff.
Which he may not known about.
Man, listen.
I think he did.
Listen, he might not known about it, but you know what kind of character that dude got. Like when you heard that, they ain't surprised you. You're like, oh, that's typical Zach.
That's typical Zach. Yep.
That's typical Zach. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it took you all the way to 2018. It took you 9 years to finally cut ties with this man. So it's no telling what else that didn't matriculated over these 9 years with you.
Yeah.
So, like you said, and I'm gonna piggyback off it. Sometimes we gotta look beyond the sport.
Yeah.
Because right now, that's all house they caring about. They caring about winning games and generating revenue for that university. They don't care about what he did to Courtney Smith.
No.
They don't care about the domestic violence issue.
You can tell in this interview, he never mentioned her name. An interviewer had to bring up Courtney Smith's name, and he said, I feel bad that we're all in this situation. What do you mean, all of us? What do you mean?
No companion.
No companion?
I mean, like,
what do you mean that you're bad that all of
bro.
us in this situation? What are you talking about, Urban?
Yeah.
It's Courtney here.
He almost looked like in the press conference. It almost looked like somebody had a gun to his head and was like, "Look, you better sound apologetic." It almost looked like that. It didn't look genuine at all.
No.
And you know, I don't know if he was nervous. I don't know if the PR people for Ohio State didn't give him enough time. I don't know what happened, but you didn't make me feel like, all right, he's sorry. He realized what he did.
No,
I didn't get that at all.
No.
So at the end of the day, it's a sad day in college sports.
Yes. It really is, bro. It truly is.
And it was a sad part about all of this. You know, if Urban Meyer had his team in a race to win a national championship this year, it's gonna all go away.
Yeah.
It's gonna all go away.
That's the problem I have with it right now. Because when you only suspend a guy 3 games out here in Columbus, what you're basically saying is that come January, if Ohio State ends up winning the Big Ten, which they're one of the Power 5 teams, and if they only have maybe one loss of the situation, we're not thinking about what happened in July and August. The situation. We're not thinking about that as fans. We're thinking about, oh man, look at Ohio State. Look at the great job Urban Meyer did with the program. Look at the other crew. You're not thinking about that. Not realizing this guy here, you don't know what he gonna allow to go on in this program. If he gonna allow that to go on with a guy who he's been known for over 9 years, a guy who's a walk-on with him at Bowling Green and all this other stuff, man, you don't know what's going on in that program. That dude only cares about winning football games. And I understand it to a degree because at the end of the day, he's a football coach. But at the end of the day, you cannot I don't undermine domestic violence, though. I just don't. I just do not.
You know what made this story even more funny? Just reading the different reports and just researching this whole story. Gene Smith and the president of the university came out and said that Urban Meyer taking medication, and for Big Ten Media Day, he couldn't remember what happened. The medication that he on makes him have loss of memory.
Oh, really?
Y'all really going to insult our intelligence like that?
He lose memory. He lose memory. He gonna get recruits.
Come on, man. When you was at Florida, you had over 30 arrests. A la Aaron Hernandez. you know, everybody talking about Urban Meyer left Florida because he was stressed out and his health and all of this. Man, you left because that program was turning into a damn. I don't know what it's turning into. It was turning into a hellhole.
That's it. It was turning
because you had over
30 recruits getting arrested. That's what it was turning
into.
You
had over 30 arrests, bro. You had people getting suspended left and right. You had people getting in fights. You had people in domestic violence. It was so many different things that was matriculating when he was at Florida. That's why you got out of Florida. You didn't get out of Florida because you had won 2 national championships.
That's it.
You had that thing rolling, but it was a lot going on, and you try to make it look like it was about your health. That's not what it's about.
No.
You knew that program was on a downward spiral because of what you had done.
That's it.
And now it had to carry over to Ohio State with people on your staff.
Yeah. It follows Urban.
And I take this back to Terrell Pryor when he was in college. Mm-hmm. When he was getting paid for the
memorabilia for the tattoos.
For the tattoos and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. They suspended Terrell Pryor 5 games. 5 games. Urban Meyer knows that somebody on his staff is beating his wife. And he gets 3 games. And 2 of the games, you can be on a practice field and help them prepare for the game. You just can't be on the sideline the day of the game.
You know the worst part about it, G? Jim Trussell lost his job. I go a step further. Jim Trussell is the reason. That's the reason why he lost the job at Ohio State.
My point exactly.
So, for Urban Meyer to still be able to just be around the coach, bruh, it bothered me so much. And the part that got me more when he got a chance to speak and he was asked questions. Every time he asked the question, okay, ask the question again. You know what the damn question was asked. The damn Gene Smith just answered the damn question.
Real
you
talk.
know what it was.
Real talk.
Every time he asked a question, hey, can you repeat it? What you mean? You're trying to make sure you don't fabricate your position. He answered that. He only did the interview only to make sure that he was not going to fabricate the 3 games that he got. From my understanding, from what I've been told, that it lasted 10 hours. You know why that's 10 hours? Because he was not trying to be suspended. From my understanding, he wasn't accepting the suspension.
Breaking news: the NCAA has uplifted the 2-year suspension on Christian Fulton. Ed Orgeron just confirmed to Andrew Lopez that Christian Fulton is eligible immediately. Kudos to that kid,
Kudos
man.
to that kid.
Kudos to that family. All the things they was going through. To give him a 2-year suspension for skipping a drug test was ridiculous, and I'm glad to see that they uplifted the ban.
I'm glad to see that too. Now the NCAA needs to do their part and I will do their own independent investigation about what's going on in Columbus. Because at the end of the day, if it was okay for a guy as a staff member to do this here, I don't know what's going on in Columbus. A lot going on. I need to go do some further detailed investigation what's going on in Columbus right now. Yeah. That's just how I look at it. That's how I view it. To me, Urban Meyer, the 3-game suspension is a joke. It's a straight-up joke. And at the end of the day, it's not and this is all on Ohio State because that's the message y'all sending.
I'm surprised they don't have protesters out there.
No, they all want Urban Meyer. Them people in Columbus, them people want.
I'm talking about like women.
Women.
As far as like domestic violence, like they did Ray Rice.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they not out there protesting out there at Ohio State. That's shocking.
That to me is a point of, at the end of the day, I agree with you now. I don't know why women are not out there more, not women are advocating to but at the end of the day, I think the biggest issue is because he wasn't the guy who was actually doing the physical abuse. And the guy who was doing the abuse was fired. So I think that's the reason why you don't have to see with Ray Rice, he was actually the abuser.
It don't matter. I mean,
I don't disagree with you, but
I understand that Urban Meyer wasn't the one that actually put his hands on a woman.
Right.
But you knew about it, bro. You knew about it, and yeah, you communicated this to Gene Smith, but y'all didn't take the proper protocol. You didn't, and you lied about it. Nah. Do I think he should be fired? No. But I do think he should be suspended for the whole year. He should not be allowed to be on that Ohio State sideline. He should not be allowed to be in the building. He should be he should be banned from off the premises for a whole calendar year. That's the right thing to do in this situation.
I agree with that.
Especially stating going back all the way to the stuff he did. I know that's at Florida, but he's shown consistent behavior of knowing about this kind of things and not doing anything about it.
Well, not just that, but the fact that
and then you deleted text messages.
Yeah, you did the cover up. To me, when you did your own investigation and you had a cover up, when you found out that he was trying to cover up whatever certain information that could potentially led to, he only covered it up because it could have led to a firing. So you know what? If we're not gonna fire you, I would probably agree with you. Suspend him for a year because you took the proper measures to cover up something that could cause fire, which means we could have been out of the $35 million guaranteed money. But you take your lick.
I wish this would have happened for Rick Pitino in Louisville. I wish they could have saved this job like this.
I mean, you got all the things, women in there, it's all on campus, man.
I'm just saying.
It was all on campus with Rick Pitino, man. Rick Pitino doing this thing over there, getting recruits down there, act down in Metro, They're having a whole party down there, man. Kids recruiting, they're getting loaded down there. They're getting it in Louisville. But listen, I can't say enough. Ohio State, to me, they dropped the ball. At the end of the day, to me, this is the whole reputation of, as long as Urban Meyer is your head coach, this is what I see. To me, at the end of the day, I see a guy that's going to allow certain things to go on in that program. To me, he's not a no-tolerance guy. So at the end of the day, when you go out here and you're having good success, I don't want to take nothing from the players on the field because it's not a player's issue. But Ohio State, the president, the university, the AD, you're saying that you hired a guy to help you win football games and really nothing else of this magnitude matters. To me, that's an issue.
Right.
That's how I see it, and that's what I'm going to leave it at. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and shift gears a little bit. Get into a little LSU. A lot of people who look at LSU football, people who don't know, they had two quarterbacks decide to transfer this recent past weeks. You had Justin McMillan, who I think was a junior at LSU, and then you had the redshirt freshman, Noel Narcisse Jr., decide to transfer out of the program. Obviously, when you get in there, Joe Burrows from an Ohio State program, who has 2 years of eligibility, and you got a Miles Brennan, who's a top-rated quarterback out of Mississippi. You got a lot of battles going on, and so you got two guys who recently transferred out of this program. The question we're going to ask a lot of people, if you're tuning in, leave your comments. Is LSU in a good place at quarterback, or in a bad place at quarterback right now? And if you had to ask me, I'm gonna go on the ledge and say no, and it's not because I don't think Miles Brennan is a horrible quarterback. Obviously, he led a lot of records over there in the state of Mississippi. He done a lot of good things for that state coming into LSU. Obviously, when he got a chance to play a little bit, you saw some potential, some life. And last year when Danny Etling was kind of benched to some degree with some of the games they played. But who is Joe Burrows? Have you really seen him at Ohio State? Not really. Does he have a high school resume pedigree? We really don't know. But we do know is that Justin McMillan was having a pretty good camp.
Right.
Transferred out. Noel Narcisse, highly rated, quarterback coming out of high school, transferred out. So Miles Brennan may not even be the starting quarterback for this team. So at the end of the day, if you come out here and you play football the way you've been playing football for the past few seasons, to me, when the guy transfers in and who has never really had snaps, to me, it signals to me as a fan who watches the game that you're trying to play football like you previously did, meaning that you're still trying to be a run-first offense. Because we don't have a history on Joe Burrows. J.T. Barrett was there. And we knew that, if Joe Burrows really had a good shot at winning the job, we know he got 2 years of eligibility, why he couldn't stay at Ohio State. But he transfers out, comes to LSU, and to me, I'm looking at myself, man, I don't think for all the recruitings that you came out and got, the guys like the Racey McMahons, the Terrence Marshall, Jamar Chase, and some of the guys, you still got Derek Dillon on the team. You still got this stout receiving core. And if Joe Burrows is going to be your guy, from the scrimmage they had, it didn't look good. From the scrimmage they had, Miles Brennan looked good. So I'm asking myself, are they still trying to be the first run and attack team when you don't have the Leonard Fournettes there no more. You don't have the Darrell Williams. You don't have the Darius guys there now. So right now, me looking at it, I would say no, it's not in a good place.
When Joe Burrow decided to transfer in, if I was lower than the seats, I'd have been transferring out. The day he was coming in, I'd have been leaving out.
I agree.
And I knew that this quarterback situation was in a bad place in the spring when, after the spring was over, Orgeron came out and said that he was going to possibly have a 2-quarterback system next year.
Right.
And I think he said that because he didn't want either one of them to transfer. But when Joe Burrow decided he was going to come to Death Valley, then he stopped saying that. He stopped singing that same tune.
Yeah. I'd agree.
So now you get to close to the season, reps start getting diminished. You start seeing the narrative getting created.
Right.
Joe Burrow's getting a lot of snaps. Miles Brennan getting a lot of snaps.
Right.
They're only putting North Season in certain packages.
Right.
Situational type stuff.
Right.
Now I gotta leave.
And
now I have no choice but to go to a JUCO. And that's what it is. Joe Burrow has only thrown 39 passes
exactly
in college football in his whole career. So we don't know what the hell they expect from this kid. Now, we've heard good things about him from Urban Meyer and some of the people from Ohio State. I've talked to a couple receivers at LSU about Joe Burrow, and they said he ain't nothing special. Now, a couple of them, they didn't say he was a bad quarterback.
Right.
But they didn't say he was anything special. But it kind of seemed like some of them are divided far as some of them like Lowell.
Right.
Some of them like Miles Brennan. It was like kind of half and half. I know from what I seen of Lowell.
The spring game, McMillan did real good.
I know from what I seen throughout the spring. McMillan looked like the best quarterback out of all of them. My personal opinion. He has came a long way since he got there since his freshman year. Now, it was days in the spring where Lowell looked like a Heisman Trophy type quarterback. And in other days, he didn't look as good.
Right.
He was kind of inconsistent. But you seen the spurts. You seen the ability in him.
Right.
But I think Lowell is one of those kids that the more reps he gets,
right,
the best you're going to get out of him.
Right.
And I just think that by him splitting reps with Miles Brennan, then when Joe Burrow got there and McMillan already there, you splitting reps all the time. You can't get into a rhythm, and now you pressing because you're thinking about not making a bad play instead of just being instinctive.
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately cost him not being a starting quarterback.
Right.
And then when they start coming at you talking about you want to be a situational quarterback for us, that's typically what you see how they try to do black quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Basically, you're going to be a running
quarterback.
Wildcat type quarterback. Lowell thinks of himself as a pure pocket / dual threat quarterback, and he should think that about himself.
And Josh, I got many comments. Josh shows that Brennan needs to develop faster. What you think about that?
I'm not sold on Miles Brennan. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback, but far as him leading LSU to where they trying to get to this year, I don't see it. I mean, you done got Joe Burrow come on in and transfer it in from Columbus. You might as well just ride with him. And let the chips fall where they may. But I do think that you're going to see another mediocre performance from the quarterback position at LSU. And another thing is, Joe Burrow, what he got there in June, July, somewhere around there.
This summer.
He got there in the summer. You're not gonna know that playbook fully like you should.
Right.
So that leads me to believe you're going into week 1 against Miami, a very talented Miami team on Labor Day weekend in Jerry World. I don't expect Joe Burrow to come out there looking like a high-profile player. I don't expect it.
That's a must-win game.
And not only that, what makes this even more disturbing is they don't have. This is probably the worst running back crew that LSU has had in the last decade. And that's no disrespect to Nick Brissett. That's no disrespect to Curry, the freshman they got.
Right.
That's no disrespect to Clyde Ellis-Hilaire, Catlin Rouge. I think they are good players.
Right.
But they're not what LSU is used to having.
That's facts.
They're not on the level of the
No.
Darius Geisers and the Leonard Fournettes of the world.
The Jeremy here,
They're not.
The Stephen Ridleys. The list goes on.
Yeah,
the list goes on. They're not them
Alfred
guys.
Blue.
Alfred Blue.
I mean,
Michael Ford. I mean, just to, Kenny Hilliard.
Spencer Wells. I mean, the list goes on and on. So they're not going to be able to run the ball at a higher rate like they've did in years past.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see, bro. Once again, we're talking about the quarterback situation at LSU.
Shoot.
Hopefully, Joe Burrow can prove us all wrong.
Well, I hope so too, because again, you open up the season with Week 1 against Miami. To me, that's a must-win game. And to win that game right now, with the recruiting class you had to come in with, to me, it's about knowing that you got a quarterback who can throw the ball minimum 25 times a game. You're not going to go out there and beat Miami right now with the situation you got going on. To me, and being able to throw the football only 20 times a football game and thinking that you're going to come out here and run the football like you did in years past with the running back that you're used to having.
Right.
That's not going to be the case. So when you have that situation going on, I'm saying to myself, can Joe Burrow be that guy? No. Are you going to have a situation where come Week 1, when you play Miami, and you say to yourself, man, Joe Burrow ain't getting the job done. We're not ready to run football. Let me go with Miles Brennan because you think he's a better passer. Well, hold on. Because at the end of the day, whoever is the better passer should be the guy starting right now. Period, point blank. Because that's the situation that you've recruited. That's what's on this roster. The depth of this offensive team is through the passing game this year. It's not going to be through years past like you have with all the stout running backs that they used to having. So at the end of the day, that's how I look at it. Now, Josh Burrow says, Burrow is getting the call, I believe. I think he's getting the call too. But at the end of the day, I think he's going to be on a short leash. But you got to ask yourself now, if you're not sold on Miles Brennan being the guy, and if you're not sold on Joe Burrow being able to throw the football 30 times a game, then to me, you just had two guys transfer. To me, I watched that spring game. Justin McMillan let the best guy they had. Not to say that he should have been the starting quarterback going into the season. Obviously, these guys let them play.
Justin McMillan didn't get a first shot.
He did.
Just like Lindsey Scott. Lindsey Scott last year, I remember going out there to the spring, watching him during spring, watching him during the summer. Lindsey Scott looked the best last year.
Yeah.
And he didn't get a first shot. And this is a clear case every year at LSU. Mm-hmm. Watch Lindsey Scott go to Missouri.
In Missouri, yeah.
First he went to East Mississippi and won the national championship. Mm-hmm. Tore it up. Now he in Missouri.
Now he in Missouri.
And watch he gonna tear it up for Missouri. But Lindsey Scott's a good quarterback, and LSU never gave a kid a first shot. And it's the same. It seems like this is becoming a pattern. It's becoming a broken record. And it's a shame because I think in my mind, man, LSU got the best receiving core in the nation.
Yeah.
Like they are star-studded at the receiver position, and it's a damn shame that they can't get it right at quarterback, and all that's gonna go to waste.
Yeah. You got a lot of talent.
Hopefully it doesn't though. Hopefully it doesn't.
Well, it's not going. If you're not going to be able to go out there and, like I say, Week 1, you got Miami. Obviously, we're not going to even talk about this.
That's going to be a good measuring stick.
It's a good measuring stick. And it's a must-win situation because you got to start asking yourself, if you're not beating Miami this year, then you got to start asking yourself, hey, look, are they capable of beating Auburn, or are they capable of beating, Alabama this year? And obviously, you got A&M now with Jimbo Fisher over there right now. Granted, you're thinking maybe a season or two before they get going, but they're going to play hard right now immediately because of the head coach they got there. So you got to start asking yourself, is this team, now that the interim is off, he's had a full season as head coach, hey, look, we can't afford to have 4 and 5 losses per season with this type of receiving core. But you got to have the right quarterback in place. To me, right now, I don't think it's in a good place. But Joe Burrow can prove a lot of us fans wrong. I hope he can. It starts off with Miami. It starts off with Miami.
That's a hell of a test.
It's a hell of a test. Mark Richt, down there, he going to have a really good coach football team, Mm-hmm. I don't think he have much of a quarterback down there in Miami myself. But I know that he's going to have a better talented team, and they're going to be ready to play. Last year, they did pretty well for themselves up till the time they played Notre Dame. They played Notre Dame. That game got out of hand, but for overall, they didn't have a bad season. They were coached pretty well. So we're going to see come up Week 1, which is next Saturday.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday. if they can go out here and be prosperous. But Joe Burrow's looking bad to me, then that's just. If he looks bad against Miami, you could can the whole season for him. I would just go to Miles Brennan and just say, start with him and go on from there, because at the end of the day, this is not a situation where I want to see him playing quarterback and he has a bad for, or give him more chances. No. Go with the sophomore and give yourself the time that you need, because you got too many weapons. We definitely know that you don't have a running back this season. Got one coming in next year.
Right.
But that's next year. We talk about this year. That's all I got to say about it. To me, situation not good.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it play out. Right now, I got LSU winning maybe 8 games this year, and to LSU standards and to how the fan base look at LSU, 8 games ain't enough.
Ain't enough.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough. You gotta be in the thick of things. You gotta be around 10 wins to be able to satisfy this fan base.
Well, not just that. To make to your point, when you talk about LSU, we've now had the BCS, what I would call the elimination game, the playoffs. Now for 5 seasons now. Mm-hmm. They haven't been close.
They haven't been in the mix of that in 7 years.
In 7 years.
Since 2011, I won't believe. I think.
Right. Since the last time they went to the national championship, and they lost to Alabama.
That's the last time. 2011. That's 7 years ago.
That's 7 years ago.
That's 2 recruiting classes.
Yeah.
That they came and went.
They came and went.
And y'all haven't been in. Y'all been going to the LilCaesars.com bowl.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's not.
You're talking about the Odell Beckham class and Jarvis Landry class. Now we talking about the Leonard Fournette class. You had 2 classes come and go. And at the end of the day, that's not good enough. Because right now, you got the class now of the Terrence Marshall and the Jamar Chase, and you got talented class. The kid out of Scotlandville, Kelvin Joseph. You got that type of class that just came in here, and some of those guys you're only gonna have for 3 years.
And they talented on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they front 7 is loaded.
Yeah.
The LSU front 7 is loaded. They got the pieces. Like I say, the weak link of the team right now is definitely at the running back position. The quarterback position is very questionable, and I think the offensive line is probably average, and I think they're young.
Well, they was young last year. They had a lot of true freshmen playing last year. So we saw that against Mississippi State last year. They got demolished.
It remains to be seen how that offensive line gonna look this year. And then they've been having a lot of arrests and stuff coming up lately.
Yeah.
Drake Davis got arrested for the domestic violence. The offensive lineman just got Ingram. He just got arrested. I mean, they got a lot going on.
They got a lot going on
inside the program right now. But I am glad to see that Christian Fulton is eligible, and they lifted the 2-year ban off him. I am glad to see that. That's going to really help that secondary out a lot.
That's a big deal.
Because I know they wanted to use the true freshman Kelvin Joseph from Scotlandville. They wanted to use him at corner. They wanted him to play safety. But with Christian Fulton being suspended and things like that, and they thought they was going to get Pat Surtain Jr., who ended up going to Alabama. Kelvin was going to play corner this year, and then when Derek Stingley, who was the #1 player in the nation for 2019, when he came next year, they were going to move Kelvin Joseph back to safety. But now that Christian Fulton's eligible, now I think you see Dave Aranda move Kelvin Joseph to safety. And now I think that's going to make that defense and that secondary be even more formidable.
He'll be out there with, particularly DuPont, and they got a couple other guys.
You got the freshman All-American Greedy Williams on that side, and so they are set up. And then you got the best Mike linebacker in all of football, and Devin White. And look out for Andre Anthony, man. He's gonna be the next Arden Key on that defense.
You got a lot of stout, again, a lot of true freshmen on the offensive line that played last year. Again, then you had a couple of JUCOs offensive linemen that transferred, and when the highly rated JUCO offensive linemen transferred into LSU. So the pieces are there. The running back is just not the same than what it was over the past decade. But at quarterback, to me, this is no situation. It looked like the Danny Allen when he transferred into LSU. It's going to be somebody. What I don't want to see right now, and this is where my reason for coming back. I don't want to see a game manager.
Hell no.
This is what we've been watching at LSU for the past.
We've seen that for 7 years.
For 7 years. A game manager since, you can say from Jared Lee to Jordan Jefferson to Anthony Jennings to Brandon Harris. I'm naming a bunch of them. Danny Etlin, game managers. It's time to see a guy who can throw the football. The last time you seen a guy who was really taking command of the offense and throwing the football was, I don't want to say it, I say his name. Forget it, he was a bust at the pro level. Jamarcus Russell. That was the last one you knew out there was.
No, Menberg.
Zach Menberg, okay.
Zach Mettenberger had 2,000-yard receivers. He was throwing it all over the place.
Zach Mettenberger was throwing the football. That's the last time they had a guy who was actually consistently throwing the football down the field. It's time to get back to that situation because especially when you don't have the Jeremy Hills and the Spencer Wares and the Michael Fords, and I'm just naming some guys out there play the running back position. Stephen Ridley's. You don't have a Leonard Fournette. You don't have a Darius Geis. You don't have a lot of those guys in that backfield. Man, look, with them receivers,
right, right.
I see that. You know, Joshua Schultz said, yeah, Zach Mettenberger could sling it. You know, he said also the defense is still there though. Greedy is absolute animal. Maybe the best DB in the country.
Arguable.
You know, he's one of the top defensive backs in the country. That's just what that is. But to me, it's not a good situation if they come out there. We want to lose against Miami. They lose against Miami, and he don't throw for more than 250 yards, and he don't have more than 30 attempts.
I want to see how if Esminga gonna open it up. And you ain't got that kind of running back there. You ain't got no staple back there. So you better be able to open his offense up and be able to get the ball down the field to these talented receivers that you got. Esminga better not wet the bed on this, but he better not wet the bed. You got people like T.J. Finley for 2020 committed.
Yeah, well, who we had on last week.
He's gonna be watching closely to how this offense progresses and how it looks throughout this season. You don't want to turn a person like that off and have them rethinking their commitment with you. So Esminga got a lot of pressure on him too. It ain't just Joe Burrow, and Esminga got to get it done. He can't piss down his leg on this one.
No,
can't piss down his leg
because
on
you have the number one rated quarterback for the 19 class in Louisiana who's committing to there, who has all the talent in the world to be that can play Sundays.
Right.
When you got a talent like that coming to the program, he's watching. And everyone's paying attention because obviously, like I said, we had him on here, a week ago. We talked about a lot of things going to come in LSU. So this here open up the season is going to be very, very, very important. Very important. Do want to shift gears a little bit. Speaking about quarterbacks, our National Football League, particularly hometown Saints. Want to get into we've had 2 preseason games so far. A lot of different battles going on, a running back position battle. Looking at Jonathan Williams, getting more reps in the first lineup. We even released Terrence West, because Jonathan Williams started getting more reps.
Terrence West was like
overweight.
Yeah.
Out of shape.
His body looked terrible. He's like a big bowling ball, little roly-poly. He looked terrible.
It's bad. You're looking at some of the defensive end battles. You talking about Alex Okafor rolled his ankle, but you got Kihaha getting some snaps in there. You're gonna start seeing Trey Hickerson getting some snaps in there. You got a lot of different battles going on in camp. In the secondary, you got some different battles going on. Arthur Moulette getting some snaps on defense, trying to make a case for make the team. But the biggest surprise in camp, backup quarterback. You got Tom Savage. We got Taysom Hill. Let me frame my statement. Taysom, special teams, Hill. And we got JT Barrett. What we gonna make up these battles in this backup quarterback position?
I just think that JT Barrett hasn't gotten a fair shot. Now we're gonna see in his 3rd preseason game if he's gonna get a fair shot to be able to show what he can do. But when he did get in the game, he scored a touchdown. He didn't look that bad. I just think he needs to get a shot. Tom Savage has not separated himself at all. Taysom Hill, damn sure haven't separated himself. He looked abysmal in that 4 turnover performance last game. I mean, he was fumbling the snap. He did not look nowhere near like an NFL quarterback. I think Taysom Hill should make the team, but as a special teams player.
Special teams Hill.
I think in his 3rd preseason game, I would hope that Sean Payton is going to give JT Barrett a fair shot. Get a guy 2 quarters.
Right.
Please, let's show what he can do. And I would love to see him compete with Tom Savage for that backup quarterback spot. Tom Savage has not did anything during this preseason that make me be like, all right, if something was to happen to Drew, I would feel comfortable with you backing him up. I don't feel good about it at all.
I don't see how Tom Savage and Taysom. To me, when I watched the last game, Taysom Hill had 4 turnovers in 6 possessions. Now the first turnover, obviously Cam Meadows drops the football. That's the interception that happened. To me, that's not on him. But from that point on, it was bad.
I mean, it's like he had butter on his
Butter
hands.
hands.
I mean, he just could not. I mean, it was bad.
It was bad. He had 2 fumbles. He had to pick the tag again when he threw down. He just threw deep. He had that pick down there. And then the worst one was when he fumbled the football in the red zone. Toward the end of the when you finally, but people don't understand, in that last 2-minute drive, he was like 6 of 11 with like 13 passing yards.
Right.
Going into that drive.
Right.
And it was like, man, that's the play. He had a couple of passes. He had that big time run. And you say, man, okay. Is he making the case? Then when he had that fumble, you was like, he bad. He's special teams. He's an athlete. He can come out here and make tackles. He can do certain things. If he gonna make this team, to me, it's special teams. I know I got a lot of grief on Facebook because we stream the games live, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in and locking in with us because we're gonna be doing that throughout the season. But he bad, and I told y'all when Tom Savage come in the game, he gonna look just as bad, and he did. Guess who so far has looked at in the few 4 minutes he's been getting? JT Barrett. Why? College pedigree. Guys won a numerous amount of games at Ohio State. Has a national championship. Even though he was the starting quarterback, but he played that season. Has a national championship. Guys have been throwing to guys like Devin Smith, Mike Thomas, Braxton Miller. He's had talent, NFL talent players that he's been playing with. So to me, it's if you got a guy like that, granted he wasn't drafted, but to me, it's time to see what he can do. Because
Right.
I've seen what the guy at BYU can do, and that's absolutely nothing at quarterback at the pro level.
Right.
I seen what Tom Savage can do. I saw what he could do in Houston.
Didn't understand the
sign.
I don't understand why we signed him.
Didn't get it. So I'm saying to myself right now, I'm asking myself, give JT Barrett, to me, I would give him immediately back a quarterback behind Drew Brees. Let me see what he do after because I think Drew going to play a half if he played this game here.
Right. The third preseason game, you usually see him play more.
You see him play more.
the most.
Yeah. But Drew Brees, to me, give him some reps because before the season starts, I give him my hat, just give him some reps. After that, I don't want to see Tom Savage or Taysom Hill. I want to see strictly JT Barrett.
Right.
If I'm not making a trade for a quarterback, I strictly want to just see him because I've seen what they cannot do at the position.
Right.
To me, I don't see starting quarterback. I don't see a guy that say, man, look, this guy is I don't think them guys can play serious if Drew Brees get hurt. I think right now, if Drew Brees cut his finger and can't give me a drive, I'm saying to myself, man, we in trouble.
And the thing that's been real disturbing to me about the whole quarterback situation is Tom Savage, when he got in the game, like Sean Payton played this kid almost the whole game. The first and second preseason game.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill, when he got in the game, he didn't look good at all.
At all.
I mean, he didn't look good at all.
At all.
And to me, it's like, okay, it's like Sean Payton is like he wants to give Taysom Hill these chances. It's like he's trying to make sure he gives him all the opportunity to be able to redeem himself. Can you do the same thing for JT Barrett, for crying out loud?
Thank you.
Let's see what this kid could do. And I say this after the draft. When we didn't draft Lamar Jackson, I said we should have traded with Teddy Bridgewater. And I still think after these last 2 preseason games, if we don't see a clear-cut backup and somebody we think that could help us if Drew go down or potentially be a successor of Drew, we need to go ahead and trade for Teddy Bridgewater because I think we can get in for the low. I think we can end up getting Teddy Bridgewater for about a 5th or 6th round pick. And I think he's worth that. Now switching over to running backs, I think Boston Scott, the only way he's probably on the outside looking in. I think the only way he makes his team is a special teams returner.
Return guy.
So because I mean, if you're gonna keep the running back, you're keeping Kamara, you're keeping Mark Ingram, you're keeping Zach Line, the fullback.
Yeah.
Because we like to go heavy sometimes.
Right.
And to me, you got to keep Jonathan Williams.
You got to keep him.
You got to keep Jonathan Williams.
Got to keep him.
Trey Edmonds, I like what you did for us last year. Shane Vereen, I thought you was gonna look better than what you did. You haven't looked.
He look like an older back.
He look a shell of himself.
He look a shell of himself.
So I think you're on the outside looking in. So I think Jonathan Williams is the one that's probably gonna make that team.
Right.
The receivers, Mike Thomas making, Teddy Ginn making, Cameron Meredith is making, Traquan Smith, who has been looking so good throughout the preseason. He's been looking so good. I can't wait to see him throughout the season. I think Brandon Tate, Tommy Lee Lewis, they on the bubble.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see who makes it out of them.
Special team guys, kind of like with Boston Scott. They all fight for one job.
I tell you what though, the receiver Keith Kirkwood, I've been really impressed with him, but I think he doesn't make it. I think he's a practice squad player. But I ain't gonna lie, I would love to see him make this team. But I think Sean Payton's going to keep Brandon Tate or Tommy Lee Lewis because they can stretch the field and they're going to be good guys in the return game. So I think that's what's going to happen for them.
And I think Michael Floyd probably gets cut too.
Yeah, Michael Floyd is out of there. He's out of there. Tight end position, Ben Watson, Josh Hill, and after that probably Garrett Griffin probably is going to get that third tight end spot.
Meyer might get cut, but Griffin.
I think Griffin is the one that's going to keep it locked down. For the tackle spot, I think Jermaine Bushride should make this team, but I'm not so sure he's going to make it. That's going to be interesting to see.
Right.
I hope William Clapp, the 7th-round pick out of LSU. I would like to see him make this team because he haven't looked bad.
He didn't look bad.
But I don't know how he's going to make it because we're deep at offensive line. We deep. And that's always a good problem.
I don't think he's bad at all. The issue that they're having is that the two guys that have been playing quarterback has, held the ball on too long and made these guys look ineffective, but it's because of the quarterback play, not the they're actually doing their jobs. Right.
And that just go to show you, like, what we were just talking about with Taysom Hill. Like, the thing that was so discouraging about Taysom Hill is he doesn't have any kind of pocket presence at all. I mean, it's like he instead of looking down the field and feeling the rush, he's looking at the rush.
Yes.
And you can't do that. And he does a terrible job of anticipating. Right. And as a quarterback, that's got to be one of your best attributes. Yes. You have to be able to anticipate where that linebacker coming from. You got to be able to anticipate where your receiver going to be. Yes. That's all a part of being a quarterback. And I know he's young, but he showed no kind of attributes.
You know what's funny? He's 27 years old. And he was in Green Bay for a couple of years before he got here. He ain't that young.
In the D-line, we deep in the D-line. I love our D-line right now. Cam Jordan, Sheldon Rankins, Tyler Davidson, Alex Okafor, David Onyemata, Trey Hendrickson. And we're going to finally get to see our first-round pick, Marcus Davenport, this week for the first time. I mean, they've been keeping him out with a groin. I don't even think the groin has even been that serious. No. I just think Sean Payton been doing it for precautionary reasons.
I think he also been doing it to get other guys snaps to see what – because you got to think, when you draft the guy 14th overall, no offense to anybody, that guy's not – he's going to make the team. That guy – I think he's done that from a precautionary standpoint, and two, to get other guys opportunity to get snapped, to get tape.
Right.
And so it's been good for guys like that guy like Lawrence, who's been on there, a guy like Jay Elliott, other guys to get, snaps in there. So I think he's done an effective job. Would say, okay, he's going to make the team. Not in a bad way, but he got to grow on, let him sit out, let me see what I got in these other guys.
Right.
And it's been a great competitive competition.
Right. We got a lot of depth at D-line. And like I say, if you want to have a good team that can compete for a Super Bowl, you got to have depth at key positions like that because we know this is a game of football and you're one injury away from being one less of a player.
Facts.
So I like how we looking at D-line. At the linebacker position, I think we're going to keep 6. We know Demario Davis is going to be a stud for us in the middle. I think he's the next Jonathan Vilma for our team.
Right.
A.J. Klein's going to be there. Manti Te'o, Alex Anzalone, Craig Robertson, the tackling machine. I think you see Kikaha gets cut. Nate Stupar, I think it's out of him and Jerome Elliott to make them the last push for that linebacker spot.
Jerome Elliott look good.
Nate Stupar, Nate Stupar.
And
he's a good special teams guy. But Jerome Elliott has been coming up big.
Big.
So that's gonna be interesting to see how Sean Payton gonna play that, bro. And in secondary, we deep at secondary. Marshawn Lattimore, Ken Crawley, Kurt Coleman, Marcus Williams, Patrick Robinson, Von Bell, and we got some good people in that secondary that's gonna get their walking papers. Chris Banjo, I love him as a veteran safety, a good rotational guy, and a good special teams guy. Justin Harden's been looking good. Another good special teams guy. Natrell Jameson, that's the 5th-round pick from Wisconsin. And he's another guy that's good in the return game, too. He's on the bubble. Arthur Mollett.
Yeah.
He been looking good. So, those 4 guys, we know for sure 3 of them ain't making it.
Right. There's another guy named Jonathan Gray, number 48.
And even our 6th-round pick from Boston College, Cameron Moore.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to make this team. That's how deep we are in the secondary. So, if it was me, I'm keeping Natrell Jameson, the kid out of Wisconsin. I'm keeping him because he has so much upside. You drafted him in the 5th round, so I would keep him. But if they were to keep Justin Hardy or Banjo or Mullet, I'm not gonna be mad about it. But if I had to pick, I'm going with
Banjo made plays on this team last year on special teams. Yeah. And you start to understand something about this defense. Yeah. So yeah.
But typically you're going with the younger guy and Jameson. And
don't forget about Arthur Mollett, man, has made a case for himself last year. And he's making a case for himself this year. This is why you release a Devontae Harris. You say a couple of pass interference plays, hey, look, I got Arthur Mollett, man. This is why, I'm not saying that this is what they're thinking, but when you don't re-sign Dalvin Bro, not to be, you looking at a guy like, man, I got a guy like Arthur Mollett who, if he could come make plays in camp.
Right.
You drafted the Moore kid out of Boston College. Mm-hmm. There's going to be 2 or 3 guys, like you said, that are going to get cut. Then you say to yourself, man, like real good players. Hoping you can put them on the practice squad, but they're going to have some real good guys.
And I'm going to tell you somebody else that everybody forgetting about that might not make this team. P.J. Williams. P.J. Williams might not make this team. And I like P.J. Williams. I'm a P.J. Williams fan. But he might not make this team. That's how talented we are in the secondary. I told somebody this the other day in the barbershop. I said, bro, I think the Saints have a top 5 secondary in the NFL. And I think would make you even more.
It's a big time statement.
I feel like that. You
got the Vikings. You got the Jags.
I said top 5. I didn't say we was 1 or 2.
Okay.
But I think we're a top 5 secondary. That's how I feel. And then we young.
Yeah, be young.
And we young. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you about to cut P.J. Williams, he on the brink of getting cut. That's a good. I don't want cutting, but that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
We got a lot of depth in our secondary, bro. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it's all play out. Like I said, the only position, and I said this on the show the week before last, the only 2 positions I'm concerned about is tight end. I know we got Ben Watson, Mr. Old Reliable.
Mm-hmm.
He's our version of Jason Witten.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he's going to be that impactful. I think he's going to make plays, he's going to block, he's going to do what he's supposed to do.
I don't think he's going to have the same impact he had a few seasons ago.
Right, especially and he coming off an injury. So I don't know how to feel about that. Josh Hill, you know what he's going to do. He going to give you a couple plays here and they're going to but he's not an every down tight end.
Correct.
So, and then we got Griffin. Griffin is more of a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
So, I'm concerned about our tight end position. And like I said, who's going to back up Drew? That's the next thing.
That has to be this team's focal point to me.
That's the thing.
Obviously, Drew Brees has almost played every snap since he's been in the Wall and Sink, and I'm not that fan that even Bush or think, man, hey, guess what? Drew Brees gonna get it. Listen, bro, I ain't even think like that. But at the same time, I'm a realist. You got to be prepared for situations whenever you think a guy can't give you a game or 2 because of a situation, an injury. Something can happen at practice.
Yeah,
happens all the time. It can happen at practice. So. Now I'm looking at what's behind Drew Brees right now. I've never seen it look this bad. We've had some, the Mark Brunells, the Chase Danielses, the Luke McCowns, that back up Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
It's never, ever looked this bad behind Drew Brees.
Right.
So it brings up concern to me because I said to myself, man, if Drew Brees can't give me a game or 2, man, look. Listen, for me to understand, the Saints schedule, it's not going to be the easiest schedule. Understand. These first 4 games are going to be tough games. Don't sleep on these Cleveland Browns. Don't sleep on Atlanta. Don't sleep on these New York Giants.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on them. Now I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we all looking past this fan, but this is the National Football League. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. The best of the best play here. So you need a quality guy to back up Drew Brees. And as far as I'm concerned right now, that's just not what I see. But I do say this though. We still have a good kicker, and Thomas Morstead is the best in the league at his job. So all these things going into play. But I'm with you. I like Jonathan Williams, probably back, being the guy that's gonna come in and get some of these plays in that secondary, man. A lot of talent. A lot of talent. And P.J. Williams managed the team not because he's not talented, not because he's getting outplayed, but also he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It's another issue with a guy like him. He just can't seem to stay healthy and be healthy.
And by us signing Patrick Robinson, who has been looking good throughout the preseason, that makes somebody like P.J. Williams expendable. Because now we got Patrick Robinson. Mm-hmm. So I really like where we at in the secondary. I really like our linebacker coach. I really like our D-line. And I'm going to tell you something else. Just like I said, we're going to have a top 5 secondary. I think you see our offensive line be looked at as one of the best offensive lines in the NFL this year, too. Because you got to think about it. Teron Armstead. Pete is staying in his natural position, which is guard. You're trying to make him out of tackle, but they found out that guard, he's an all-pro guard.
He's a guard.
Max Unger. We know what you know what
top
you get.
Top 5 center in the league.
You know that. Larry Walford. Big time.
Big time.
Ryan Ramczyk, who came on last year and showed everybody he is one of the better right tackles in this league.
Right.
So I really like where we at right now. Like I say, you can't have dominant and roughs at every position.
Right.
But like I say, tight end and backup quarterback is where I think that that's the only things we're lacking at.
Newton Hannon says season is wide open, baby. Season is wide open. So what you're saying is, G, that a guy like Drew Brees could be set up to get that second ring over a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
And that leads us into our next topic.
Let's topic.
Who is most set up to get their second ring this year? Is it Aaron Rodgers or is it
Drew Brees?
And I mean,
I'm going to be real with y'all right now, and I'm not being biased. It's Drew Brees. Let me tell you something. I studied the Packers too, and I like what Green Bay has offensively. I like the fact that when you got Devontae Adams and you got a Randall Cobb, and they drafted 3 or 4 receivers in this upcoming NFL draft. You get a Jimmy Graham in there now. Offensively, they look good. They look very good. Then you look on the defensive side of the football. You still got Clay Matthews. You still got Nick Perry. You still got a lot of. Didn't they get they end up getting Mo Wilkerson.
Yeah. From the Jets.
From the Jets, you get Mo Wilkerson down there.
But he been on the downslide. Maybe he has a resurgence.
Yeah,
with the Packers. We'll see.
I saw one of the games, and Brian Boldinger pointed them out. No effort. Follow me on Twitter. Didn't look good. But they secondary in Green Bay, to me, Clint Dix is a very good player, but once you get past that, they corners, Kevin King didn't have the best rookie year, out of Washington. On the other side, it's kind of suspect. You can make plays on a defense. And then you got to look at their division. The Lions, they're going to probably have some decent running game this year. You get a Kerryon Johnson down there, out of Auburn. You already know Matthew Stafford going to throw the football.
Right.
The Bears going to have a tough defense. Offensively, you don't know what Mitch Trubisky going to give you, so on and so forth. But then again, who the division is going to go through this year? It's going to go through the Minnesota Vikings. You bring in the Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean? Dalvin Cook going to be back. We already know what the defense is going to bring. Probably the best defensive line in all of football. Probably the best secondaries in football.
Right.
One of the best linebacking cores in football. One of the best defenses in all of football, the Minnesota Vikings. So I got the Minnesota Vikings still running that division, being a highly rated seed, and the Packers going to be fighting with the Lions. Then I look over to the Saints. I'm saying to myself, man, Drew Brees, what are you going to do with Mike Thomas, which is Mr. Magnificent to me. You're looking at, Ted Ginn, who can make plays down the field. You got to me, a Marshall Faulk talent in Alvin Kamara. And when Mark Ingram come back, Ice Chest can go there, get those tough yards for you offensively. Defensive, man, look, we just talked about it. Cam Jordan. You're going to have a Sheldon Rankins. You're going to have a Marcus Davenport, that rookie. You're going to have that linebacking core, that one of the best secondaries in football. To me, the Saints are set up. Drew Brees is set up to get that second ring over Aaron Rodgers.
Right. And I looked at the Packers team. You're gonna have a shot when you got somebody like Aaron Rodgers.
It's a bad man, bro. It's a bad man.
For the life of me, they could never get somebody that's very reliable at running back.
Right.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been going through this for about the last 2 or 3 years since Cheeseburger Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie
Lacy.
Ever since he's been going out of town, they had a guy wearing number 88 playing running back. Had to switch Montgomery from receiver to running back. I mean, they got Jamal Williams playing. He probably gonna be the starter this year. I'm sure Montgomery gonna.
Then they got Aaron Jones last year.
I'm sure Montgomery gonna be in there somewhere in the mix and things like that. But they until the Packers get back to being able to be more of a balanced team, you know, that was the Saints' problem for a long time.
Right. It's
That's been the Saints' problem for a long time, and that's why we couldn't get back to the playoffs. When we got back to running the ball, like with Kamara and Ingram, like we did the last couple of years, now you seeing the Saints take that next step, and that's one of the things that the Packers have not done.
Right.
They have not done.
Right. It's one of those things that, to me, you know, Don Capers is not running the defense anymore. I don't recall offhand who their defensive coordinator. I know Don Capers is a defensive coordinator a long time, but to me, I haven't seen the Packers really get a lot of pressure as far as getting sacks. You know, ever since they tried to put Clay Matthews in the inside, it just didn't work. When he was an outside linebacker, getting to the quarterback, he was getting sacks. But ever since then, you know, then they lose Jake Ryan out of Michigan. I'm biased. I'm talking about Michigan. You know, they lose to Jake Ryan, who's going to be their middle linebacker. You know, it was, to me, it hurt their defense. You know, so to me, is Aaron Rodgers going to, you know, be out there and be productive for them? Sure, he is. You know, he's a bad man, but coming off an injury. Understand that. Aaron Rodgers coming off an injury.
And I want to see how Jimmy Graham going to look with him too.
Now I know this much, G. I'm gonna say this. If Jimmy Graham looked like the same, if they using this Jimmy Graham the way the Saints use Jimmy Graham, boy, you better pick him in your fantasy league. You better pick him.
We're gonna see.
We're gonna see.
But like I see, I think Aaron Rodgers is not set up as good as Drew Brees is.
Now Newton Handy says Green Bay gotta get past monster of Midway. And he also says playoff Vikings, Saints, New York. I'm assuming he's referring to the New York Giants.
Right.
Do the Giants. But I'm assuming, but you got to also understand they got an NFC West team out there. Who going to win the NFC West?
Right.
You know, who going to win? It's going to be the 49ers. Seattle team is depleted. The Rams are pretty stout on defense, one of the best defenses in the league. You got Gurley, he just got paid. You got Brandon Cooks, who paid, you know. Jared Goff going to be into his third year, you know. That's going to be a lot of the cases there, you know. So, you know, the Rams going to be up there in contention too. Don't sleep on the Rams. Do not sleep on the Rams. But I think Drew Brees is going to probably be the one set up for the Super Bowl this year. But then again, as long as number 12 is playing for the Packers, you got to always look at that situation and ask yourself, you can't count them out. Don't forget that that's the same Aaron Rodgers that played the NFC Championship game against Matt Ryan, you know, to get to the Super Bowl when the Falcons just with the shell of themselves in the second half.
I just think the Saints have the better constructed team, top to bottom. That's just how I feel.
I agree. I agree. Going to this season, I agree. But then again, you know, Mike McCarthy is a bad man too. Hell of a coach. Now, if I'm right, I think my producer is telling me we have our special guest that's giving us a call. For people who've been looking forward to this segment here all night, he's finally on the line. You know, Edna Karr own Devin Bush is on the line with us. Devin, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay.
Turn the volume up for us, producer.
Devin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there we go. I was saying that you got a lot of practice going on, man. So y'all in a very busy time of the year, man. Spotlight on high school football, bro.
Yeah, we ready.
Ooh.
Devin, man, kind of just talk about leading up to the Jamboree tomorrow night, man. I know y'all can't wait to get ready to hit somebody else. I mean, I know y'all played East St. John last week, but you know, getting it in front of y'all, the Cougar Nation, and preparing for that, and then getting ready for week 1, man, and a tough opponent in St. Paul. Just talk about how y'all been preparing for that.
We've been competing every day. I feel like that's the best way to you know, just get ready for this hard schedule that we're gonna have. I feel like our best opponents is ourselves at practice. Also in defense, you know, we just attack everybody. We attack each other, so I feel like it's gonna be easy once a game time comes.
Well, listen, Devin, man, this Fred, man. Look, got a question for you, man. How does it feel to be, you know, a Cougar, man? You know, you talking about you guys are the 2-time 4A state champs, man, which is an impeccable thing to do in high school football, man. You know, preparing to come into the season, man. Tell people about Cougar Nation, Edna Karr. What it feels like to be a Cougar. You know, we had Coach Bryce Brown early on last year after they won, but we want to hear from the player. What does it feel from a player to be part of that Cougar Nation?
To be part of Cougar Nation, I mean, that's a wonderful feeling. It's a place where you'll learn how to be a better man, also with being a better football player. So you really get the whole thing dealing with these coaches. You know, we have a great coaching staff. Everybody love everybody. So, you know, they just gonna teach you how to be a better man along with being a better football player. So it's great.
Man, Devin, you've been starting since your 10th grade year. That's not easy to do at Edna Karr. I mean, everybody knows if you come in and play that early as a 10th grader, you must be like that. You did that in your 10th grade year, and I think you finished the season with your 10th grade year with 7 interceptions.
I finished with 8.
8. I'm sorry, I shorted you one. I shorted you one. You finished your 10th grade year with 8 interceptions, man. Just talk about that whole process, man. Getting to Edna Karr, starting as a 10th grader and progressing each year, man, and now ultimately being a 4-star cornerback and one of the most highly touted DBs in the nation.
Well, starting my 10th grade year, you know, I was the youngest starter on the team, and I had a big opportunity to face two of the best receivers that came through Louisiana, Reese McMahon, Dejon Dixon. I faced them every day at practice, and I feel like it just made me better. They didn't take it easy on me because I was young, so that just made me better. My junior year, I faced Anthony Spurlock at practice. You know, fast guy. He crisp on his way. So, you know, I always had a receiver at practice to push me to be better and better, so I really applaud them for that.
When you get with Devin, you know, you are arguably, you know, the second best corner in this state. You know, according to 247sports.com, you know, Devin Stigley, you know, is number 1, and you're second. You know, Gray Brooks is arguably third. You know, and that list goes on, man. Tell everybody, how does it feel for you to be a top-rated corner this your upcoming senior year, and what's your biggest expectation that you're looking out of yourself this upcoming senior year?
I mean, being one of the best cornerbacks in the state, you know, there's always a target on my back. I feel like every week we play, I'm going to get a receiver's best shot because of who I am. And, you know, the expectation this year is just to repeat, you know, make sure I leave my brand on the young kids when I leave, so the legacy can stay going.
Nah, we know that you got awarded number 7, and for a lot of people that don't know, that's a big deal at Edna Karr. That's like wearing number 7 at LSU. You wear number 7, you that guy, you that dude, and it's not just about being a talented football player. It goes beyond that, man. Devin, kind of explain to the people that's listening how big it is and how it's an honor for you to be awarded number 7 from not only your coaches but your peers on your team.
To be awarded number 7, I feel like it's one of the biggest honors that a football player can have at Edna Karr, because that means you're that guy. You're always dependent on that, always looking for great things. You know, that's all. So, you know, being awarded number 7, I feel like my team really trusts me with it. You know, they know I'm a playmaker. They know I'm going to help them when the bleed needs to stop. So that's about it.
Okay. Now, I got a question for you, Devin, man. When you looked at the calendar this year, you looked at the schedule, what team you looked at and said, man, you know what? We're going to have to give our best effort this night. When you looked at the schedule and said, man, look, this the team here. You know, obviously, y'all the targets. You know, y'all the 4A state champs, you know, 2-time state champs. But when you looked at the schedule this year, you say, man, listen, this team here, they can give us our best shot during the regular season. What school you think you know that you're looking forward to playing this year?
Ooh, that's tough.
Week 10?
You know, I'm only saying that's a tough one because, well, I know we got Eastern on our schedule, and a lot of people looking forward to that game. But I feel like our best competition is ourselves. I feel like we go against the best people every day at practice.
Ooh.
I like that answer.
I like that answer.
That's a typical Edna Karr answer right there.
Yes.
Now, Devin, man, look, I'm gonna just go ahead and get into it, bro, because you've been having a lot of people around the state wondering what's going on. You announced your top 3 around June, I think it was June or July, somewhere around there. You announced your top 3. It was Clemson, LSU, and who was the third one? Tennessee. Recently, you put a letter out on Twitter saying that you've reopened your recruitment, and now you kind of gonna be entertaining a lot of different schools. Tell me what went on into that decision and what happened for you not to still involve those top 3 schools. Or are you still involved in them top 3 schools?
Well, with reopening my recruitment, I just feel like I acted prematurely. I feel like I acted too fast without, taking enough look into these schools, dealing with the football and the academics and stuff, and just sitting down with my parents and planning everything out. I sat down with my parents, my coach, and we just agreed to, open it up, get a fresh start, give all these coaches and teams another shot, and then we're going to do it the correct way this time. We're going to evaluate all the schools equally, and, we're going to see what's best for me in the end.
So do you have any top schools at the moment, or it's still like just super wide open?
No, it's super wide open.
Ooh. I know a lot of schools like to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Dijon Scooter Harris trying to do a little recruiting on Twitter today, bro. I don't know what's up with that man down there in Arkansas.
Yeah, he a dude from around the way where I'm at, so we got a close connection. I feel like he want me to come now, just to take the boys from the booth to Arkansas and just ball. I think their home defense. Well, a lot of the defensive players are from Louisiana.
Yeah. I noticed that. I noticed that.
A good bit off.
That's gonna be interesting to keep an eye on.
Yeah, Baton Rouge, you gotta watch out.
I think Chad Moore about to do some things up there in Fayetteville.
Well, listen, I got a question for you. Speaking about recruiting, talk about that a little bit. What are some of the things now that you open up your recruitment process a little bit? You being a very highly rated, player. Tell people who don't understand a little about recruiting. What are some of the things that you've been going through? What are some of the things that you're looking for? As a player, what do you think are some of the things that you think, it's going to be a best situation for you being a highly rated football player? Come out of the week, or Edna Karr.
Well, when it comes down to looking for a school, I feel like first you should look for a school that has the defensive scheme that you like and that you're best at. Then it all builds down to what you want to major in school, the academics, how long the coach has been there, how long he thinks he's going to be there, because a lot of coaches have been, switching schools and stuff. So,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Just little things like that.
Nah, I know you all about the team, and I know that about you, and that's something that's been instilled in you since you got to the Edna Karr program, and something that your parents have instilled in you. But I've noticed something over the last few months, and I just want to get your take on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing these Under Armour invites being sent out. I've been seeing these Army All-Americans invites being sent out. I'm not about to touch on some of the kids that got invited. That's not what I'm here to do. But what I have noticed, you one of the top-rated corners, not just in the state, but in the nation. How are you feeling being overlooked by the Under Armour and the All-American Army people at this moment?
Well, it's not a good feeling to me because I went to the Under Armour camp. I balled out. I put up good numbers in the combine. I did the same thing at the U.S. Army program. I've just been waiting ever since. But seeing the players that been getting the invite, I'm better than most of those players.
Right.
So, but that's not something that I could control.
Right.
I can't just beg them for the invite.
Right. Is it something that you think that it's going to add fuel to the fire going into your senior year? Like, all right, y'all won't overlook me. I'm gonna show y'all this year.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of things to prove and a lot of people to prove wrong this season.
Ooh, see, a lot of people to prove wrong.
No, I feel like this gonna be my best season.
Now, I got a question for you, Devin, man. When you watching your game and you watching how to make yourself better, and you're looking at guys at the collegiate level, and you're looking at guys at the pro level, who are you thinking you're trying to model your game behind? You look at Devin Bush, and you say, man, my game has I play the game very similar to a guy like blank. Who is that guy that you're watching, you're studying as a football player?
Well, for a cornerback, I watch Patrick Peterson, of course. You know, I feel like I idle my game after his because of our speed, you know, the aggressiveness. He could come down and tackle. He could play the ball. He could play man. He could play zone. And I feel like I do all those.
That's the only corner that you kind of emulate your game around. Nobody else.
Yeah, that's the only play I've been watching as a corner. Like I watch his highlights since 6th grade. You know, over and over and over. I still watch him to this day.
Wow. A lot of young kids model Patrick Peterson game.
Right.
A lot of young kids model that number 7
right.
out of Baton Rouge.
Right.
It's a popular thing to watch.
Right.
I'm
not opposed. I'm not opposed
to that. Not opposed to that. He wore number 7, did his thing at LSU, went to pro. He's been a Pro Bowl corner his entire NFL career.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad guy to model. But then again, you got to ask yourself the question. Do you have the same athleticism? Can you do some of the things that he's able to do? Because a lot of things he do is a lot of athleticism that a lot of guys didn't have that gift.
Right. I think that's what Devin is alluding to. That
right.
He has the speed.
It's speed.
He catches the ball at his highest point.
Mm-hmm. He
can turn and run with the best. I mean, and he has good size.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you see him looking at Patrick Peterson as somebody he emulated his game around. You know what I'm saying? Devin, right now, are you still working on setting up official visits? Is LSU coming back into the picture? Do they have a shot to get your services? I mean, kind of talk about what's your plan going into these next couple weeks or the next month of trying to set up visits and stuff like that.
Well, you know, the visits, you know, I'll pick out probably 3 or 4 schools, maybe 5 to take official. You know, I've been talking to some of the coaches at some schools. You know, they really want me to come, so I'm going to sit down with my parents, my coach. We're going to set up an official. And with LSU, I mean, I don't know. They're not really recruiting right now. You know, they got all the corners that I feel like they really need.
Ooh. That sound like that's adding more fuel to your fire for this senior season. You heard me, Devin?
Yeah.
I said that sound like that's adding more fuel to your fire for your senior season.
I mean, anybody that'll pass up on me, I gotta see what he did.
Well, I'm a diehard Michigan fan, baby. I'm just putting it out there. Don't forget about Ann Arbor, baby.
I don't think he won't go up there in that cold, man. Don't forget
about Ann Arbor, baby.
I don't think his mom and his daddy won't go up there in December, man.
Ain't no wrong with Ann Arbor, baby.
It's cold, man.
Charles Woodson won a Heisman, man. Understand that, man. He the last defensive player to win a Heisman. Go to Ann Arbor, baby.
Man, Devin, man, hey, bro. I appreciate you taking your time out your busy schedule, man, to come do this segment with us, bro. You got to promise me, man, you're going to come back on the show before the season over, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be back for sure.
There it is, man. Devin Bush, man. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, thank you.
All right.
That's Devin Bush, man. Number 2 rated corner in the state.
Man, I mean, I can't wait to see what school is going to be in line for his services. That's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying?
Young man said a big-time statement. LSU's not really looking at him. They may have all the corners they may need.
Yeah, I think LSU got 3 committed for this class already.
Yeah.
I mean, but when he comes out and says, I'm back on line to try to see why, you know, I'm open up. I ain't got that top 3 no more. I mean, I wonder if that changes things.
Right.
Do you start changing things around? That's going to be interesting to see. Devin Bush's daddy said he's played in the snow before. He can handle it. So are you trying to let us know he going to set up an official visit to Michigan? Come on, let me know, Mr. Bush.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Let me know.
I'm a Michigan fan, too.
Yeah, listen.
Jim Harbaugh would love to have Devin Speed down there in the Big Ten.
For people who don't know, the last defensive player who won the Heisman played corner, and he won number 2 at Michigan.
You know what I'm saying?
So we out there behind Patrick Peterson, who's a great player.
Yeah, I'm advocating for Michigan right now. I am.
Guess what? That man, Charles Woodson, is going to be a Hall of Famer.
And look.
First ballot.
And look, I'm going to take it a step further. Ja Eugene.
Yep.
The Destrehan, former Destrehan DB, who was one of the top corners in the nation, was committed to Michigan.
He was number 2 at the time. Yep.
Was committed to Michigan.
Him and Brandon Graham.
Changed his mind the last minute and went to LSU. And he'll tell you to this day, he should have went to Michigan.
Facts.
He went to LSU. He said he loved that LSU, but he said he should have went to Michigan.
Facts.
Just going to throw that out there.
Facts.
Just going to throw that out there.
The facts. He was supposed to go. It was him and Brandon Graham come out of high school. Brandon Graham was the top #1 middle linebacker in the state. I mean, in the country. And he was the top-rated corner in the country. And those are two big Michigan recruits. Obviously,
I think Jai Eugene was like 5 or something overall. Like
yeah, he was corners.
He was a high-rated corner.
And he ended up going to LSU over Michigan. Now we seen what happened with Brandon Graham's career. He's a Super Bowl winner, a Pro Bowl defensive end. And we see what happened to Jai Eugene.
Right.
Go to LSU, had a couple of kids, and it didn't really work out.
Right.
And I look at him to this, well, I don't know the kid today, but just the time when he was at LSU, I was like, should have went to Michigan.
Yeah. He'll tell you that. He'll tell you that shit is there. He'll be like, man, I should have went to Michigan, G. I should have went to Michigan.
Should have went to Michigan.
Should have went to the big house.
That's it.
But man, I think Devin is in for a big senior year. Just all the stuff that he's been through since his 10th grade year. I mean, I just remember the stuff that senior class put him through. And Coach Bryce Brown and the rest of those coaches, his DB coach Jared Jones, when they put him, Coach Torres Howard, the D coordinator, the stuff they put him through his 10th grade year, it has prepared him
for this.
Because people don't understand how much of a responsibility that is when you wear that number 7 that car. It ain't just about going out there on Friday nights and being a team captain. It's a lot that go into that. And all of that he's went through since he's been there, since his 10th grade year starting, it's prepared him for his senior year. And I just think that, especially with, LSU overlooking him, the Under Armour All-American people not sending him the invites, he has a lot of bulletin board material for himself. And not only that, they trying to go back to back to back.
Correct.
So they trying to go for a 3-peat this year. So there's a lot of motivation factors this year for Devin Bush.
Which is a big reason why you're looking at a kid like that. He's wide open. He's going to go on a few different visits. Again, I'm advocating for Michigan because I'm a diehard. That's what it is. But, man, team, Clemson, may need to find a way to get back in the running. Tennessee need to find a way to get back in the running. But you just open the doors wide open for guys like Jimbo Fisher to come in here, and make a recruit at this game, Arkansas,
Right.
So much can go on. Because that, to me, when you watch Devin Bush play, if he's in the right situation and he goes into college football, that kid's going to make plays. He's going to be out there looking. Another kid out of Louisiana, representing the state very well, like a Meek Robinson, first year at Louisiana. I think he could probably start as a freshman, So depending on where he goes, listen, man, sky's the limit for the kid.
Yeah. Like I say, one of the things that I really notice about Devin and that I notice about good corners when you come out of high school, first of all, I look at have you technically sound? He's definitely technically sound. Can you turn and run? Can you get your head turned around? And the last thing is, can you attack the ball at his highest point? He does all those things very, very well. And then he's getting coached up at Edna Karr. So that typically lets you know already that he's going to have a good chance to come in as a true freshman. And he has good size. I mean, he's sitting at 6'6", something around there. He has them big quads. He got sitting right on his thighs. Right. You know what I'm saying? So 4.4 speed consistently.
Yeah.
So the sky's the limit for him, man. I can't wait to see him rock that number 7 this year and do his thing.
Now Michael Bush says, I would like to see more passes thrown to his side of the field.
Look, Mike, look, bro. That's a good problem to have, bro. That's a good problem to have.
We know what it is with good corners. Good corners don't get thrown at. In order for good corner to get thrown at, they got to do a little this. They got to do a little this. They got to do a little all this. Just to get teams to want to throw the football so they want to make plays on him. I don't think that's his personality. But we're going to see.
We're going to see. And then I think you're going to see him be big time in the return game this year, too. Last year was his first time in high school returning punts and stuff like that. And he did pretty good. But I think his senior year, you're going to see him being more comfortable in the return game. I think you're going to see this kid run a lot of kicks back this year. And it's going to get to a point where they sky kicking, directional kicking, where they don't even want keeping the ball no more.
No.
And that's just going to be an added dimension. You don't want to get that Edna Karr offense a short field.
No.
So it's going to play right into their hand, man.
Not at all.
It's going to be big. And it's a testament to the Edna Karr program producing these big-time studs like Devin Bush year in and year out. And I think this is going to be another year that you see these people compete to win that 4A state title this year.
Man, the people win 4A state title again. It's 3 times in a row.
Look, they better than they was last year. I keep telling people that. They ask me about how good Karr is this. I say, look, they better than they was last year. People like, what? I'm like, They're better than they was last year. And now they done added Jamie Vance, who was ineligible last year. Right. Transferred from De La Salle. He's on the other side of Devin Bush. He's a really, really good corner. That's just gonna add more fuel to the fire for that secondary. So I mean, they gonna be locked and loaded this year. I can't wait to cover some of these games this year. Can't wait.
Edna Karr is for the past decade has been the cream of the crop.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you got to be credit to what Coach Bob Brown, Jaluk, and everybody who's came through that program and coached that program up, man. They have been what high school football needs to be about. Now, I ain't just talking about winning.
Right. Exactly.
We ain't just talking about winning, folks.
Exactly.
We talking about how you should coach, how guys are, getting the grades, going through the clearinghouse, doing what they're not just a target and identify was a great program, not just from winning on Friday nights, but winning on Mondays, winning on Tuesdays.
Right.
Doing it the right way.
Exactly.
It gets no better than them Cougars, man.
Yeah.
It gets no better than that.
I know one thing. It's a shame what happened with Hornville today.
Bad news, yes. For people who don't know, the head coach, was suspended for Hornville, Andrew Robeson, quarterback.
He transferred from Vanderbilt Catholic
to Hornville, and I think he's not eligible. I think he's not going to play.
Yeah, they ruled him ineligible for the year.
For the whole year.
Suspended Coach Salt for 4 games. Fined the school $2,500. It's unfortunate, bro, because this kid and his family, first of all, his dad was coaching at Vanderbilt Catholic.
Basketball team.
And he was offensive coordinator. Got fired. The school didn't retain him.
Correct.
However you want to quote it, whatever how they want to put it.
Correct.
They didn't retain it. So his son was the quarterback of the team. So of course, I'm gonna bring my son where I'm going. So they uprooted and moved to Hornville. I want to say they moved around April or something of last school year. The LSHA comes out the day of the Jamboree and says this kid is not eligible. Man, how fitting.
I read that this morning. I said,
how fitting, bro? I mean, first of all,
y'all waiting for this time?
Y'all couldn't figure something out. If y'all had plans on ruling him ineligible or whatever the case is gonna be, how y'all can't figure this out sometime in the summer? These people been practicing, and from what I heard, they changed their offense up a lot. Because they had this quarterback, they moved Jaquan Jackson from quarterback to receiver, which is his natural position. And now they running all these different plays, implementing all these different signal calls, a lot of different things they did to get ready for this season with Andrew Robeson. And now you don't have him. Now you got to change everything and get ready for the Jamboree tonight against Jesuit, and then week 1. I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the program. And it's just not right. And everybody keep talking about Coach Salt recruited this kid to come there. Me personally, I know a lot about this situation. I was kind of hands-on with the situation. I know people that's really close in the situation. And Coach Salt did not recruit Andrew Robeson to come to Hornville.
To me,
contrary to what people won't see.
To me, for you to suspend the coach and to name a kid ineligible his senior year, the day of, to me, it's disrespectful.
My name is Devin Bush. I attend Edna Karr High School.
Listen, bro.
It's unfortunate,
It's
bro.
unfortunate.
It's just another kid that falls to a ruling of the LSHA, bro. It's just not what's up. I felt bad for him, bro. He's a good kid, bro. The sky's the limit for him. I couldn't wait to see him at the helm for Hornville this year. I mean, he was gonna put them in prime position to be able to compete to get back to that dome this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how good of a quarterback he was, and now it's all going around the drain because they want to say that he was recruited to come there. And a lot of the time, bro, I know in past situations they don't even be having sound proof. It be off of speculation or somebody he say she say and all of this. It's messed up, bro. It's really messed up.
My thing is this.
My heart goes out to the Hornville.
Raymond
nation.
Ross Jr. said politics. Nicole Adams said, this is my longtime family friend child. I think she was referring to Devin Bush.
Right.
To me, at the end of the day, why would you want to take away a guy's senior year like that? If you want to suspend the head coach, by all means.
Right.
That's my thing.
Right.
If you want to suspend the head coach 4 games and say, okay, you recruited the kid.
Right.
Suspend the coach.
Right.
This is this young man's senior year.
Right.
It's his senior year. That's my problem with it. Why should this kid, who parents moved to Harmville, want him to play at Harmville, should be suspended and be deemed ineligible in his senior year? You think a kid gonna play over here 3 years and move over here and play over here to know that he's gonna be ineligible?
Right. Right.
Who does that? When you know you're being recruited. Who does that? Nobody.
Chris Singleton or the Homer Courier tweeted that Vanderbilt's, which is Andrew Robeson's former school, Vanderbilt's administration confirmed that they met with the LSHA officials this week and answered all questions involving Andrew Robeson's transfer from the school this summer. They completed the LSHA's concurrence form and supplied additional information as requested. So, I don't know the details behind that, but like I say, I know the kid really moved. Him and his dad really moved to the Harmville area.
Right.
And it's just unfortunate that his senior is going to be taken from him. Now, there's been people close to the situation that's saying that he might go back to Vanderbilt. But I just don't know if that's going to happen with his dad, how that ended. Him getting, not retained and stuff like that. So, I just want to see the kid be able to play his senior year.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's my thing. When they come out, listen, if you're going to me, my thing is this. Suspend the coach. If you feel like that actually happened, suspend the coach. But don't take the kid's senior year away. Look, Vanderbilt Catholic probably got a new quarterback down there. They probably got a new situation going on. Those kids been down there for some time now. They done went through camps and different things to prepare themselves for their season. For him to just go back there and be like, okay,
right,
that's not justice for that kid and that program. And he's been practicing with these kids and getting to know this situation. Man, this is where and here's my thing with high school football. It's not like it's college football or professional where you could just find a replacement. These are guys at professional levels and so on and so forth.
Right.
Or even at collegiate level, you got 4 or 5 quarterbacks recruited. Hey, he ineligible. What to do? You got 4 or 5 of them. High school, that's not the case.
Right.
A lot of these kids play both ways. Even if it's the quarterback is going to make that whole situation work in high school football.
Right.
That matters. To me, that's my problem with it all. Because at the end of the day, don't take the kid's senior year away.
Right.
That's my problem. Do not take a kid's senior year away. Because in high school football, a lot of these kids are playing both ways. These teams ain't nothing but 40 players, 50 players deep.
Now reading this article from the Herald Guide, they quoted, "We have received notification from the LSHA outlining sanctions that are being imposed following its investigation of alleged recruiting by Harmville High School program.
Right.
The alleged violations were reported to the LSHA by a private school where the student athlete previously attended, which is Vanderbilt Catholic. Now, this is my first time reading this. The school has filed an emergency appeal with the LSHA and is requesting the determining factors for the ruling. As a school system, with the students' best interests at heart, we feel that the sanctions issued by the LSHA were excessive and detrimental to the student athlete, the football team, and the entire school community. She said the sanctions represent significant long-term damage for the student athlete, which is true.
True.
And the ruling cannot be taken lightly. Robeson is a senior who is being recruited by several Division I schools, and the suspension would effectively represent the end of his prep football career. We anxiously await a response from the LSHA regarding the appeal. Robeson previously attended Vanderbilt Catholic and Homer before transfer to Harmville earlier this summer, making a move after the contract of his father, Drew Robeson, was not renewed. Drew Robeson served as Vanderbilt's offensive coordinator, and he was
he's a basketball coach.
Head basketball coach. So basically they're saying Vanderbilt.
They filed that.
They filed this.
This
is my thing. If I'm running a program and I got a kid that lead, especially if we didn't fire his daddy. You want him to stay here and we didn't fire his daddy?
That's not going to happen.
So guess what? If he wants to leave, I'm not about to go file nothing to these people, because guess what? I don't want to hurt that kid, bro. I don't want to hurt that kid. And at the end of the day, I don't want somebody to be in my program that don't want to be here.
At the end of the day,
that kills me with a lot of these programs. You want to go out and you want to go protest and you want to go and do an investigation and report these kids. Bro, if the kid don't want to be there, don't force the kid to be there.
Here's my thing.
Man.
Here's my thing about it all.
This is ridiculous.
So what are you trying to say? If you're Vanderbilt Catholic, you want him to be quarterback for you and only you? Do you even want him as your quarterback this year? This is what I'm thinking. Like, do you want him as your quarterback? Because if you don't, or if you moved on, is Hornville even playing Vanderbilt Catholic? Which I don't think so.
No, they're not playing them.
So what does it matter to you? They're in the same district. So what does it matter? It shouldn't matter to you. It shouldn't matter to you. You fired his dad, who was a staff on the football team. He's the coordinator. He was the head basketball coach. He was not retained any of his services at Vanderbilt Catholic. What makes you think a dad is a dad? If I was a basketball coach for a high school and a football coach on the staff, and my son was the top-rated guy, I'm thinking about the interest of my son.
Right.
If I'm not being retained here and I'm not living here anymore, then my son can't play football here. It's just the way it is. Why are you trying to penalize his son? Think about the kid.
And Coach Soap even said, he said, man, put it all on me. Put it all, and I think people took that as
suspend the coach.
I think people took that as, now he's admitting that he recruited, and that's not what he was doing. He was simply trying to say that, look, don't hurt the kid.
That's it.
This kid. I mean, Angel Robertson has two offers. He has an offer from Nicholls State, Northwestern State. He has a bevy of other schools that's on the brink of offering him, like the Tulanes, the ULs of the world, and other schools.
Yeah. This senior matters.
Not letting this kid play his senior is going to really hurt his recruiting. And I just don't think that's fair to that kid. And like I said, I don't know, if they crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's to the 100%.
Right.
But I know for a fact that Coach Saul didn't recruit Andrew Roberson to come to Hornville. I do know that.
Right.
Now, the process of transferring, did y'all do all the necessary protocol to make sure it was done the right way?
Right.
I can't speak on that.
Right.
But I do know Coach Saul did not recruit him.
You know the head coach did not recruit him. My biggest thing is that
fact.
at the end of the day, this kid's a senior, and you know that he has D1 offers. You know that he's trying to play. It's not like he moved from this school to this school to this school. That's not the pattern for him and this kid in this program. Don't deny this kid his senior.
Right.
Let this kid go out here. Because, see, to me, I look at it as bigger than just football. This kid has an opportunity to go get an education because of football.
Right.
Why would you want to stop that? Put football to the side for a second. He has an opportunity to get a college scholarship to play football to get an education. Now, why do you want to stop that if you're the Louisiana LHSSA? Why?
I'm just hoping at this point that the appeal goes through and they grant him eligibility, bro.
Grant this kid eligibility. He's a senior. Grant this kid eligibility that he needs to go out here and get a scholarship to go get an education and play football. Whatever he becomes as a collegiate player he's a collegiate player.
Right.
Don't deny him this time.
Right.
This will go a long way with him.
Right.
As a person.
Right.
This is going to go a long way. This is the time that he's going to remember in life.
And I said this in my article when I wrote it earlier. I wonder if he would have transferred to a program that wasn't as prominent as Hornville.
Yeah.
Would this even happen? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Go to Downsonville or something.
If he had went to a program that wasn't as prominent as Hornville, would this have happened? That makes you wonder.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder because I think
the program has a lot. The way the program he agreed to go to has a lot to do with it because his abilities could be showcased at a top level.
Yes.
And they start to say, man, we don't want that.
Yes.
And my thing is that if you got beef with the dude dad, you got beef with the dude dad. You don't have beef with that kid. He's a kid.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you something, bro. Him being a quarterback at Hornville, I mean, he was going to take that program to new heights this year.
Yeah.
We all know last year was the Puka Williams show.
Yeah.
And the Jaquan Jackson show. This year, it was going to be the Andrew Robertson show, Jaquan Jackson show, Darrell Evans show, and the rest of those receivers they got. They was going to spread that thing around. It was going to be a fun thing to watch.
And it still should be.
And I'm hoping I get some good news on Monday. I hope I see it come across my timeline on Twitter. He's been granted eligibility.
He should be granted eligibility.
That's going to make my D.
That he should be granted eligibility.
That's gonna make my
I
day.
think that there's no that. And I read that article today because I know when you're posting, you was upset, and that people talking about we're going to be brother. I'm like, I know what he's talking about. Talking about Harmville. I read that article. Boy, that made me upset. I know what he's talking about. That just it upset me. At the end of the day, the kid should be a granted eligibility. This is about these kids. You don't know what this senior year can do for that kid. As far as him getting a scholarship, that kid could come back here, man, because he had the senior and got an education.
Yeah.
Guess what? He could end up becoming whatever he wanted to be and contributing so much for the state of Louisiana. All because he was granted a senior year.
Right. I mean, the NCAA uplifted the ban from Christian Fulton. That said, the LSHA could do the same thing for Andrew Roberson.
Hope these kids, hope people who are in the appeal process got a spirit, man.
We gonna see.
We gonna see. Now we got about 10 minutes left in the show. We wanted to get into the little, we had a little more pro football to still discuss. Dez Bryant, or Dez, is it worth the trouble? Cleveland, is it worth the trouble? Obviously, for people who don't know, Dez Bryant, he has the most touchdowns for an active receiver still currently playing. I think he has like over 78. Since obviously been playing since 2010. But for the past couple of seasons, Dez Bryant has not been the touchdown machine that he needed to be, like when he had Tony Romo. Free agent still today. Is Dez worth the trouble? Should Dez to the team be seeking out to sign Dez? Is Dez just a injury, available receiver now? Meaning that teams already have their receivers in place, but I'm only bringing Dez in because I had an injury on my team. Can Dez make a team better, receiving wise? What's up with Dez, man? Why, we're going to the third preseason game. What's good?
If I'm the Cleveland Browns, I'm staying far, far away from Dez Bryant. And the reason why is because you got a quarterback and Tyrod Taylor who, I like Tyrod Taylor. I think he's been a pretty solid quarterback. I mean, he hit the Pro Bowl 1 year. But Tyrod Taylor cannot handle a personality like Dez Bryant. Can't handle it. I think it'll be detrimental to him. I think it will mess the season up for a kid like that who is trying to show that he can be a good starting quarterback in this league. Baker Mayfield. We know Baker Mayfield's a rough rider. We know Baker Mayfield, he put it all on the line.
Right.
He lived life on the edge.
Right.
And he's a young quarterback. I just don't want a person like Dez Bryant corrupting his mind. And then you want to add the personality of Dez with Jarvis Landry. I just don't like it. And then you got somebody like Hugh Jackson, who I've been on the record saying, I don't think Hugh Jackson is head coach material. I think he's a great offensive mind. I think he will be a good coordinator. Mm-hmm. But leading the team and leading the troops, I don't think that's his forte. And I definitely don't think he can handle a personality like Dez Bryant. So I think that the Cleveland Browns need to stay away from him. Dez Bryant has to go somewhere where he's going to respect ownership. He's going to respect the head coach. And he's going to respect that quarterback. And a quarterback is going to have to be strong-minded like a mug.
Green Bay?
Somewhat like Green Bay, the Steelers, the Patriots, someone like that. He does not need to step foot nowhere in Cleveland. Because I'm telling you, he's going to mess the maturation process up for Baker Mayfield, and he's going to mess it up for Tyrod Taylor. He's too much of a control freak. He's too much about him. Dez said, yeah, do I think Dez won't win? Yeah, he won't win, but he won't make sure he getting him in the process of winning. And that's how you get, man. If you watch the Hard Knocks, not the Hard Knocks, All or Nothing on Amazon with the Cowboys last year, man, this dude was crazy. He's crazy.
I remember him and Jordan Lewis, the cornerback out of Michigan. Man. Him and then went into
and then on top of all that, he's not worth the trouble because his play has took a dip. He's not the Dez Bryant he was 3-4 years ago. Do I think he could still be a good receiver in this league? Yeah, I think he still be a good receiver. I think he still got some in the tank, but he's not worth the trouble.
What about Houston?
No.
Don't want him with Deshaun Watson?
I don't want to mess him with Deshaun Watson. I don't want to mess with Deshaun Watson. Even though I do like Bill O'Brien, and I do think Bill O'Brien could probably handle a personality like that.
Right.
I just don't. You got a young quarterback like Deshaun Watson. You got to have a savvy veteran in place at quarterback. You got to have thick skin. You got
Hopkins. You have Dez, Will Fuller, Braxton Miller.
I just don't. I don't think. I wouldn't want him around my young stud quarterback like that.
I understand. But what I'm saying is
corrupted his mind.
What I'm saying is when you put him in a situation like that, he know he's not going to be the focal point.
Dez think Dez is the Carmelo Anthony of the NFL. That's what he is. Dez still think he is a top 3 receiver in his league. Dez still think that he could catch 100 balls for 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns. That's what Dez think. Dez think he is all that in a bag of chips. That's what he think. And like I say, if I'm Cleveland, I'm staying away from him because I don't want him coming in corrupted Tyrod Taylor. I don't want him coming in corrupted Baker Mayfield. And like I said, Hugh Jackson, man, he like a little puppet, man. I mean, he can't handle a personality like that. He can't handle that, man.
So you're saying Atlanta?
Atlanta maybe, but I just don't see where he'll fit in Atlanta because Muhammad Sanu, got Ridley they just drafted, Julio. I mean, ain't enough balls for it to go around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he needs to go somewhere. I'm telling you, the Steelers, the Patriots, the Packers, someone like that. I think that'll be a good fit for
Carolina, possibly.
Because I think Cam can handle it.
Yeah.
Cam can handle it. You know what I'm saying? Cam can handle it. You know, that'll be something interesting. He definitely don't need to go nowhere like Tampa Bay and mess around with Jameis Winston.
His head already messed up, but it'll make it even worse. It'll make it even worse.
Like I said, it's about 3 or 4, and I seen the Patriots just cut Kenny Britt.
Right.
So.
Right. They cut Kenny Britt. They released Malcolm Mitchell. They released Jordan Matthews. So they've released some guys. So there's opportunity in space there. I would.
I can even see because the Raiders do stuff like this. I can see the Raiders taking a chance on him.
Gruden
can handle it.
Gruden can handle it. Yeah, I'll probably say even the Raiders, but the Raiders already have too much. You get Martavis Bryant. You already got Amari Cooper. You already brought in Jordy Nelson this offseason. That's too much. Personality-wise, I think Gruden can handle him, but I just think that the receiver position is too loaded.
Yeah,
for him to get balls.
Yeah, it is.
For him to get balls.
He would have to come into that situation knowing, look, you got to get in when you fit in.
Right. Which I don't think he has that mind yet.
He think he's that guy. I'm telling you, he's the Carmelo Anthony of the NFL.
Seattle.
Nah, man, he'll run all over Russell Wilson. Then Sierra have to step in.
So Seattle to best Pete Carroll. He gonna run over Russell Wilson. Doug Baldwin balls.
But we already know Seattle. That organization is.
It's going down.
It's going down. It's a business move.
It's going down.
It's getting bad. It's getting bad. Now I'll tell you somewhere. And I said this in early in the summer that I think could be a good fit for him. Somewhere like San Francisco. I think Kyle Shanahan,
John Lynch,
and with Jimmy G, that'll be a good situation. But I don't think Dez won't be on a team where he won't feel like they could contend to go to the playoffs and make a run. He won't be with somebody he think can make a run. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And people gonna say, well, why you going to the Browns? Man, look. Even though I don't think the Browns going to the playoffs,
that team loaded.
And if you on that team, I know if I was on that team, I'd be thinking we got a shot to do something.
Now, to me, this season right now, when I look at that Cleveland Browns roster, offensively and defensively, Hugh Jackson, if you can't win me 6 games, you're out of here. That's just how I see it. To me, if you probably can't win me 8 games, I'm saying to myself, listen, dog, Cleveland has a team, roster-wise.
And I just got word that they say they think Tyrod Taylor just broke his wrist.
Baker Mayfield starts week 1. Quarterback can't throw it out of wrist.
So you definitely don't want
Well,
you definitely don't want Dez teaming up with a rookie quarterback like Baker Mayfield. I mean, I just don't see it working.
And that to me, that's gonna be what. That's gonna probably be three rookie QBs starting week 1. To me, Josh Allen gonna start week 1. I think Bridgewater gonna get moved, so Darnold gonna be starting week 1.
Hopefully, Bridgewater gets moved to the Saints.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have now, what's his face? Baker Mayfield, Tyrod Taylor can't go starting week 1. Obviously, Lamar Jackson ain't gonna play as long as Joe Flacco is there, at least this season here. Then you don't know how long Rosen gonna be on the bench, along with Bradford starting. But you can look.
I think Rosen gonna end up being a starter
at some point.
At some point in the
season. Yeah. I think when the season kind of got, to me, I think they're gonna bench Bradford when I think the season from a win. If it's playoff in contention and they win it, then Bradford's still gonna stay your guy. But if the playoffs get out of reach, they're gonna go Rosen. If they're somewhere like 4 and like 8, throw the kid in there. Bradford, this 1-year deal. It could not be Bradford's fault.
Right.
It don't even matter. I'm going with the rookie, and that's what it's gonna be.
I tell you what though, I would love this. If I would love to play with the Browns on Madden, if Dez Bryant do go to the Browns, I ain't gonna lie. That'd be nice to play with. I mean, you got Carlos Hyde, you got Duke Johnson, Baker Mayfield, Tyrod Taylor, you got Njoku at tight end, you got Jarvis Landry, you got Josh Gordon, you got Dez. Boy, I'll be nice with them boys. On defense, I like them. They got Jamie Collins, you got Jabril Peppers, you got Denzel Ward,
Myles Garrett.
They got it set up. And I love Greg Williams as a defensive coordinator. Mr. Bounty.
Yeah.
Love it. And then they got Haley as the OC. Mm-hmm. So, I think that you're going to see the Browns win about 6 or 7 games. But if it was me, I'm not touching him. I'm not going to let him corrupt him.
Real life, not touching him. Madden, all over.
Yes.
All over.
Yes.
All over. 88.
Yeah. All day. All day.
Now, I think you're onto something. Now that Baker Mayfield probably going to be starting the season. And they have a few good games, no offense against Tyrod Taylor, but you drafted the guy first overall.
Especially if he didn't broke his wrist like they think he.
Yeah, if it's a broke wrist, then they're going to go with Baker Mayfield to start the season. Then if they have a few good games, no offense to Tyrod Taylor, but if a first overall pick is starting to have some success in the league, you're going to go with the first overall pick. That's just what it is. So you got to ask yourself your questions. Do you really want that around your team?
Right.
That's a lot of personality, a lot of diva for a guy who may only give you 50 yards, 50 catches, 600 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Right.
That's a lot.
Right.
That's a lot. Now, even if when he was getting you the 90 catches and the 1,400 yards and the 13, 14 touchdowns a season, you wouldn't win it. So it's a lot to take in. There's a lot of personality. You got to be careful, Cleveland, but you're Cleveland, so I expect almost anything. Any closing marks, G Sports?
Ashanti killed it at the VMAs. She has the best set of thighs I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Please start retweeting and posting her pictures on Twitter. I gotta focus. Ashanti, baby, you still got it, baby. You still got it. You still got it. You still got it, Ashanti. Lord, you still got it. You dragging that wagon.
Facts. Listen, man, for people tuning in, my closing remarks is, man, I had a great, high school friend, who was murdered and killed this past week, right here in West Wego, man. Coach Jazz, went to high school and played high school basketball at Higgins. Was a coach for West Wego Playground for a lot of these kids, man. Anybody know anything, man? Talk up, speak up. God was giving back to the community. God was preparing for the season upcoming for the kids for high school football, high school basketball coach. Giving back to be shot and killed, shot over 5 times over here in West Wego. It hurts my heart. It truly, truly hurts my heart. So if anybody has something to say, speak up and say something for people to understand. They got something going on at 3J's. Tomorrow night, Friday night, for donations for his funeral. Come out, step up, support. I really appreciate for anybody, who will go out there and, give a donation. People who came out there West Wego early this week, I appreciate everybody for stopping out there. I stopped out, gave a donation, man. But shout out to my man, Jazz. I'm going to miss you, man. I'm going to miss you. That's just what I got to say.
That is, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Make sure y'all tune in next Thursday. 6 to 8, man.
6 to 8. Also, Saturday night. Y'all know what it is. I got the game. FanView Live. Tag the page, add the page. Streaming the game. I'm going back to my Joe Buck commentary. I'm getting it in. Y'all tune in, man. FanView, Real Fans Talk Sports.